power. And then he can have, with the people behind him and in those positions of authority with him, backing that Babylonian religious system, then he is able to spread it to the whole world and take over for the last half of the tribulation period. And so it all comes about by the offer of the things of this world, the power and the riches. Ahab sold himself to work wickedness, and that's what Israel is going to do to make really Israel the world power for that last 3.5 years of the tribulation period. So that's what we'll cover next week. But let's go back to 1 Kings 19. We'll conclude with this verse here. Because Israel will sell themselves to this system. They'll align themselves with the Antichrist. And it will seem that the whole world is being taken over by Satan, because Antichrist will rule. That's what it seemed like to Elijah in the days of Ahab and Jezebel. Jezebel had set up this religious system, and even though God had won a great victory through Elijah, still Jezebel and Ahab, they were in control. And so Elijah, he ran away and he hid in a cave. And he says, I'm all alone. I'm the only one here serving God. No one else will serve God. Everybody's gone after Baal. And God tells him in 1 Kings 19:18. 1 Kings 19:18. God tells Elijah, he says, Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which hath not kissed him. Similarly, in the tribulation period, because of the wealth and power that the Antichrist offers to the nation of Israel, most of them will sell themselves over to that system. They'll like the riches, they'll like sitting up there, they'll like ruling over the world, and they will bow down to that image of the beast, and they will worship that image. They will take the mark of the beast. And then Israel, it will seem like Satan has won. It will seem like God has been defeated. But just like here, God reserved a faithful remnant, 7,000, who had not bowed their knees unto Baal or have not kissed that image. They were faithful to what God said, even though the overwhelming majority says, I'm going to trust in Baal. That's what happened then, and that's what's going to happen in the tribulation period. So even though the Jezebel system, the mystery Babylon, that religious system is strong in the tribulation period, there is a faithful remnant who will not bow down to the image of the beast, will not take its mark, and they are going to rise up when Jesus comes at His second coming at the end of the 7 years. Then Jesus will win the victory over Satan's forces and establish His kingdom on earth. So next week we'll get into really what takes place in Jezebel here, looking at Babylon for that last 3.5 years of the tribulation period, and see how it has its rule and effect over the whole world. And it seems like Satan has won. But keep in mind that there's that faithful remnant that God reserves, and that God will raise up at the end of the tribulation period, and He will set up His kingdom then. So with that, we'll take a break, and we'll come back at 11 o'clock.
Ladies,